Welcome everyone to another episode of Nerdistan, a podcast where we celebrate being weird and being nerds. I'm your host, Manoj Matthew, and joining me today, across dreams, through a pretty fragile internet connection, is my very good friend, Jay Nair.
One take, man. One take.
Yes,
Congratulations.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Technically, it's not one take because we did we had a recording
And
now, which
man,
also went on flawlessly, but
why, why do you
Google
have,
Meet failed.
why do you have to tell people about it, man? I was like supporting you in our career of six podcasts. Like it was the second time you did one take. Come on, man. You spoiled it yourself.
Dude, I am very transparent with our listeners.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because we have very few listeners.
True.
So I'm like, I just tell everything to
So
them.
at least those who are there stays there.
Yeah, yeah. We're very thankful for the listeners to tuning to our podcast this week. This week we'll be discussing Inception. We'll be discussing some weird stories. Today marks the 10-year anniversary of Inception. Maybe today or yesterday. We are not sure when this will come out. So we are not quite sure about the editing side of things, but we'll see how things go. Um, Another thing I just want to talk about is the fact that we still don't have a theme song. So like I'm very tempted to just take a track of YouTube, like royalty free track, and just stamp
Yeah,
it on front
yeah.
of the podcast. But I don't really want to do that. So if anyone can make us a theme song, that would be awesome. Like we want something unique. I mean, not unique. I mean, if you send us anything, we would play it in the start.
Yeah.
That's just
Like,
it.
if Hans Zimmer is seeing this podcast and listening to it, please make a
Yes,
theme song for us, man.
yes.
We love your
Dude,
work in every movie.
yeah, yeah, definitely. We should get hands on. We'll get those drums and stuff like that. Drums and beats
Yeah.
and everything. It'll be awesome.
I want orchestra, man. I want the church organ.
Oh, it'll be like 3 minutes of the three theme song just
Yeah.
playing, but people would
Uh,
tune in just for that those
yeah,
three
yeah, yeah,
minutes.
yeah, definitely, man.
If you guys are listening to this through YouTube, do hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. If you want, I mean, it's totally up to you. Like it's completely up to you. But you don't have to hit the bell icon. It's completely fine. Don't hit the bell icon. We don't care. We are still not sure why there's a bell icon in YouTube, but just hit the subscribe button. That's all. What we're asking for. I should also acknowledge the fact that this podcast was delayed
Yeah,
through these days.
yeah.
Unfortunately, what happened was that we had a pretty tough assignment to submit. If you guys don't know, me and Jay are MBA students. Not that there's any value to that. It's we'll be jobless. Like honestly speaking, like we're definitely going to be jobless. But
Uh,
we did have some pretty tough assignments, and so initially Jay delayed it, then I delayed it, then again Jay delayed it. That's why it got delayed by three, four
then the
days. But
college delayed it,
to,
so now we are
yeah,
here today.
actually, now you would probably think that we actually finished the assignment and that's why we're
No.
doing this. That's not the case. We have still not made much progress in that assignment, but the college has apparently, we are still not sure about that. There's a lot of uh, non clarity in that front on when the deadline
Yeah,
is, but apparently they have not said anything today, so we are not submitting it. So, I mean,
yeah.
who knows what will happen, but. But that's why we're doing the podcast today, and which I think worked out great because I think today is the actual 10-year anniversary of Inception.
Yes, right now we are recording. It's 12 in the night too.
Yeah, some would say it's a pre-planned decision, but I
No,
can tell
no.
it to you honestly, it was not.
Yeah. We just had a dream that we could do Inception podcast.
Yeah,
So we are here today.
yeah, we luck sort of favored
Yeah.
us in that way. We will be discussing the Inception movie. We'll just be talking about it. We are not film reviewers or analysts.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about the movie. Jay is, I'm not.
Okay. Now the pressure's on me, I guess, huh?
Yeah. But we'll just be discussing Inception, and but I have also collected a few weird dream stories, which we'll be doing a storytelling narration sort of session after we sort of talk about the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Inception, this I mean it's a 10-year-old movie, so obviously this discussion would be spoiler filled. But if you haven't watched Inception and if you're really into science fiction movies, I would definitely suggest you to watch this one. This is probably one of the best science fiction movies, according to me and Jay.
Yeah. If you're still not convinced that you should watch this movie, just wait for the day. I will be uploading a very special video on Inception. So that will definitely like make you watch that movie. Oh my God. Yeah.
But won't that video be spoiler filled? Jay just froze. Yes, like shit. What did I just say? No, don't listen to Jay. If you haven't watched the movie and you are really looking forward to watching a science fiction kind of movie, do stop this podcast and just go watch it. But I would really highly recommend watching it. But if you're someone who's not interested in Inception, who has no like, you're like, I'm not sure why you clicked it. Maybe you clicked it because you like me and Jay or something,
Yeah.
which I'm very grateful for. But if that's the case, then I would suggest you to go to the timestamp where we discuss the stories. The timestamps would be in the description. We have some pretty wild stories. I'm not quite sure about my narration skills, but we have some good stories. So, hopefully I can do them justice.
Yeah. You will, man. You will. I trust you.
Yeah. Jay is very embarrassed now. His cheeks have become red.
You know, I
It's
would
the
like
same
to
reaction
rephrase my
he
sentence.
has
You
when he
know,
sees his
just
crush.
to watch my review, just to watch my video essay on Inception, you should definitely watch the movie. I would like to rephrase it. Yeah. How's that,
Yeah.
Manoj? Huh?
Yeah, you can watch Jay's review. You can not watch it. It's completely fine. I don't really care. No, guys, do watch it. I mean, if you're Jay has also done an analysis on the Dark series.
Yeah.
So Jay has been doing a lot of work. So, anyways, a quick thought before we jump into the next one. Before we jump into the review, next week we'll be doing a podcast episode on the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
There are 6 movies in total. All of them pretty much have the same plot, so we should be able to get through it in one episode.
The whole
No, man,
franchise
because
is
I
built
love the
around
series a
Tom
lot.
Cruise
I
doing
love the
impossible
series.
things just like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we will be doing a pretty we'll be talking a lot about those movies. I'm a huge fan of the franchise,
Yeah.
and for the next week's episode, I'm not sure when we will do this because we're already doing this episode pretty late.
Yeah.
But for the next week's episode, the stories that we would be discussing would be the rule-breaking experiences in your life, like the times where you actually broke rules, maybe in your school, in your college, the thrills behind it, the punishments you face, or the escape of it. Stories like that, fun stories like that. You can send it to us through Gmail. No one has sent us anything through Gmail other than Google and YouTube.
Are you sure we have got responses from Google and YouTube?
Yes, yes. YouTube sends a message every month saying that, "Hey, creator, YouTube creator, you have gained one more subscriber in the one last month."
And you know who is that subscriber? I just made a new account. I just made a new account in Gmail, and that's the new subscriber, Manoj.
Yeah. But we have a Gmail account that's pretty dormant. So if you want to hit us up in Gmail, that's great.
Yeah.
We also have an Instagram account. You can DM us your stories over there as well.
Yeah.
Or I would just ask my friends personally to tell them their stories, and we would just narrate that. Which, looking at everything, that's the most likely scenario. Or I would probably again ask in the Planet Mates group who has contributed most of the stories for today's episode.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've covered all bases, right, Jay?
Yeah. Yeah.
The next episode, this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're going to dive in to Inception.
Yeah.
Brrrm,
What?
brrrm. Oh, I actually got Hans Zimmer to compose that. No.
Bro, I thought there was a werewolf, you know?
I was trying to emulate the drums of, the horn sound of Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I know. It was very accurate, I know. Listeners, please don't leave us, man.
You know, I want to do one impression as well. Like, you have inspired me. Like, I want to do the time. Tan, 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 tan.
Oh, now we have to move in slow motion.
Yeah. I guess pretty much all the guys who were listening to it have now exited it. I guess. I believe so.
Yeah. I just took a moment there to cough, so I didn't hear what you said.
I was just saying that all those who were listening till now, after we started playing our own orchestra, they left.
Yeah.
So there is no one now.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the view still counts, right?
Yeah, of course. They doesn't know that. They don't know that, man.
Okay, anyway, so we'll dive into Inception. So, Inception is a movie directed by Christopher Nolan. The IMDb description is pretty vague, but it says that a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream sharing technology is given the inverse task of planning an idea into the mind of a CEO.
Yeah.
To be honest, that probably didn't make any sense to a
But
person
you know
who
what?
doesn't know anything about the movie.
Yeah, you know what? That perfectly suits for a complicated movie as Inception. The synopsis is
Yeah,
complicated, the movie is
yeah.
complex. Yeah, it perfectly suits, man.
No, but I would just say, if you want to really simplify it,
Yeah,
it's a heist movie that takes place in
yeah,
dreams.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it. Like that is the one line sort of description of this movie, I would say. And
You know?
dude, this is
Yeah,
a wonderful movie, man. Like I rewatched this like 2 or 3 days back,
yeah.
and dude, I'll just say this that nowadays I sort of lost the ability
Hmm.
because of how the amount of work we have gotten every
Yeah,
day to
true.
do, like
Yeah, yeah.
from internships and to like this research project and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
I can't like I don't get the time to just sit down and watch a movie now, like for 2 hours straight. So what
true.
I do is I usually like break the movie into like half an hour chunks, and I watch it while I eat dinner, lunch, stuff like that. So, but what happened while watching this movie was that I got so engrossed in it, and I've seen this movie multiple times, okay?
Yeah,
But still, I got so engrossed into that I would forget that I
true.
have to do the project. I have to my plate the food the plate is still in my hand. I've eaten food. It's been 45 minutes. The plate is dry now. My hands are dry. It's
Yeah.
still there. I'm still watching the movie.
Yeah, that happens with me every single time, man. Like whenever I watch anything while eating, now it just takes me forever to complete it.
Anyway, so Jay, tell me some of your thoughts on this movie.
It's been 10 years, man, and like as you were saying, it doesn't feel like this movie has aged at all. Maybe because we are in the second level of dream. Who knows? You could be in limbo as well. You never know.
That was a very bad sort
Bro, come on, man. Come on, appreciate it,
of
man.
bad observation,
It
but
took me
okay.
one whole day to think of it.
Jay is crying now. But
Yeah,
go
yeah.
on.
It's definitely, man, one of my. It's for me, it's Christopher Nolan top three film at least. Like, that's the least I could say, and that's a
For
pretty.
me, I would say this is the most original Nolan blockbuster.
Yeah,
Like, because the Dark Knight trilogy is like based on the Batman mythos and stuff
yeah,
like that. So,
yeah,
let's just put that aside.
yeah.
But I think this is the one movie that if you want to like really show someone a Nolan blockbuster movie,
True,
this one would be it. Action blockbuster movie,
true.
this one would be it. And
Yeah,
I feel like there are many things in this movie that I think I've rewatched putting the Dark Knight trilogy aside.
yeah.
I think this is the one movie which I've rewatched the most number of times when compared to some of the other Nolan movies. And I'm not sure why that happened, but I mean, actually, I need like after watching this movie, I was like, man, I should rewatch Dunkirk and Interstellar more
Yeah, yeah.
because I feel like those two movies I've not rewatched as much as I want to.
For some reason, I don't know why the first time I watched Interstellar, I was like so blown away by it because the emotions of it. Because like
Yeah,
VFX CGI is too cool and all that, the black hole and all.
yeah,
But the emotions behind that story was like
mm,
that was for me. And same goes for Inception as well. Like you couldn't just establish a big science fiction dream world without having a core emotion at it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. True, true, true. And I want to get into like the things that they established throughout the movie, but let's just start this discussion
yeah,
by talking about the first opening action scene. Now,
yeah,
the opening action scene is great because the movie just starts off in a bang. Like
yeah.
immediately you're just put into this thing and you have no idea what's going on.
True.
But the movie does such a great job of explaining everything
Yeah,
without over explaining it, but at the same time keeping you in the thick of the action. Like
exactly.
it's like you play some of these modern games
Yeah,
like where they don't hold your hand, like they expertly hold your hand on the controls of what the game is, but at the same time they put you in the thick of action. That's what it reminded me now. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, dude, the action scenes are great and everything is going so well, but at the same time the the way how they sort of incorporated the character and stuff, it's so great.
yeah, totally agree, man. Yeah,
I mean, it's so great. I mean, the way how they did the action scene, dude, that it just picks up immediately, and you don't feel bored. Like you're just like, damn, that's it.
yeah,
And the one more thing which I want to talk
true.
about is that this movie there are many slow motion scenes,
Yeah,
okay, but all the slow motion scenes have a special meaning to them, and it's not shown just
True.
because it's cool, because it's actually time
Exactly.
slowing
Yeah.
down. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like not many movies can do that. Uh, like maybe when you have Flash or Quicksilver running, like the time
Yeah.
slows down, and there's
Yeah.
like a special sense to that than just looking having it look cool. Like that's the only sort of explanation of slow
Yeah.
motion which makes sense in a movie. Like oh, usually it's just used because it looks cool, but in this movie it looks cool,
True.
obviously, but at the same time
Yeah.
it has a story meaning as well.
Yeah. It's necessary. Yeah.
Dude, that's it's just
Yeah.
great, man. Like in this sort of opening action scene, we're introduced to Saito. Like we are obviously introduced to the main character Cobb. We are also given a tease of his sort of relationship with Maul. And at the
Yeah.
same time, you also have the character of Fisher introduced as the aide of Cobb, and we also have one of the primary players of the plot going forward, Saito, also introduced. So it's such an
Yeah.
efficient way of introducing these characters, and at the same time, you're given the tease
Yeah.
of them stealing his idea. So that is one thing which I want to talk
Yeah.
about Inception. The amount of concepts they actually put into this movie. Like you have the
Yeah.
concept of dreams. Okay. Then you have the concept of them stealing an idea from the dream. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have the concept of them planting an idea into the dream.
Planting an idea.
And
Yeah.
then towards the end of the movie, like on the second act of the movie, you can say they have this concept of actually turning the person against his own subconscious. Like, dude, the amount of
Yeah.
ideas within this movie, it's like I just look at this and I'm like, MCU took 22 movies just to get to Thanos, and this movie literally introduced like a whole lot of concepts in just one movie, and they're like done, and it never felt like
You
over
know,
stuff,
that's yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like not now obviously, like when I first watched it I was like like around 16, 17. So I was like, eh, what is this? Okay, this is good, but I don't know what it is. I will like watch it 10 years after.
I actually see. I'll say this honestly. Interstellar was one
Hmm.
movie which I didn't totally get when I watched it the first time. But Inception was
Yeah.
one movie which I understood right at the first go, which I'm very proud of. I'm like, yeah, I
Oh,
actually understood the movie.
hail you,
Although
man.
I,
Hail you,
although
Manoj.
I must say this, my attention span when this movie released like 10 years back was a
Yeah.
lot better than now, because I was
Oh,
not someone who used my phone that much. Like 10
okay.
years back, I was like 12, so I probably didn't even have a phone then. So I was like, I was like, for me, movies were something else. I used to like sit focused with subtitles and I'm really focused on the movie, and
Yeah.
just get lost inside the movie. Like I
Yeah.
wish I could still do that nowadays. Like nowadays, I try my best to always do that, but when you have the phone aside and stuff like that, I always
True.
try my best to keep my phone as far as me. And I always ensure that my mobile data is off,
Yeah.
so that I don't want any WhatsApp notifications while watching a movie.
That's like movies and series are my getaway from real world. I
Yeah.
just need some time to like to
Or
watch
maybe
these.
that is
My
your real
reality.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like in the movie, like even in Inception, like they're like they go to this room where people they live through their
Yeah,
dreams.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
It's
going.
it's a
Yeah.
fascinating concept. It's like when I watch Inception, I'm like I feel like this concept is good for something else. Like I feel like this concept is like not just for one movie. It probably
Yeah.
could be something more. But then I just look at the story. I'm like, but it's like a perfect story already.
Yeah.
Like why would you want to like milk it out? And I really respect like Warner Brothers for not milking this out.
Yeah.
Like
I guess
I like
yeah.
yeah, go on.
I guess they like Warner Brothers never mess with Christopher Nolan's work. Like they let him do
True,
because
true.
like he's like his sacred treasure, you know? Like
Yeah.
he like he's the like as we used to call he's their like differentiator in marketing term
Yeah.
if I put. He's a differentiator.
He's the unique selling proposition for Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
exactly.
Disney is like we have Marvel, we have Lucasfilms, we have like Star Wars, we have
We have
we have
Christopher Nolan.
X-Men, we have everything, and then they're just like we have Christopher Nolan, man. Until he jumps
Yeah.
ships and abandons us, we have him. I right now since we're discussing dreams and stuff like that, there's this. So what I did was I actually reached out to a Facebook group. called Great Mates Planet. It's basically the Facebook group related to the Weekly Planet podcast, and basically the set of podcasts that they do in the network over there. So I guess I'm not. We're not. Honestly, obviously, we're not affiliated with them. Like we're too small. Like we're nothing. Like we're not even a proper podcast. But
Yeah.
but anyway, like that group has always been my sense of joy, and it's probably the only reason I still have my Facebook account. So like I just asked them about like dreams and stuff. I just asked them to share some weird dream stories because I was not
Okay.
getting any dream stories from my friends. They're like, I
Yeah.
don't really remember my dreams, or all I have is the fact that I have to submit my assignment tomorrow. Like that's the only dream I have.
When you when you told me to like collect weird dream stories from my friends, I texted many of them, and most of them replied, "Bro, we don't remember our dreams." And one of them
Yeah.
replies like, "I have not seen dream in the last like 5 6 years, man." I tell him, "Bro, something is wrong with you. You should go check yourself up."
There's one of my friends who I asked this, and he gave me a very R-rated dream involving some.
Just
I'm
tell
like,
me
bro,
after.
I'm not saying that in the show.
Just tell me after podcast,
Yeah,
okay?
I'll tell it to you after the podcast. And if he's listening to this, he knows. He knows who that is. I won't
Uh,
say his name. I won't say his name. He's a pretty good friend of
is
mine.
it
But
Nova?
uh, no, 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 no,
No.
man. It's not.
Okay.
It's not someone who you know. I think so.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would say, yeah. Okay. So, this is so when I asked for like dream stories, there's a person over there called Clayton Andres.
Okay.
Andres. I'm so sorry, man, if I butchered your name. Okay, Clayton sort of had this very big description. He didn't share any of his dream stories, but he shared the science behind dreams. And I would
Oh,
just like to read that
fascinating.
out
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very fascinating. It's also kind of connected to Inception, I felt, even though
Okay.
he didn't intend it to be connected. So he says
Yeah.
that I love the science of dreams. You don't remember them because your brain doesn't store them in long-term memory. And the only way you can recall parts of your dream is if you wake up in the middle of it and actively try to relate what you were just experiencing to yourself immediately. So really, your memory of your dream can only be your memory of you trying to remember what you just woke up from. Dude, that just blew my mind. I'm like, that is so
Wow.
true. Because
Wow.
I never thought of it. Then he goes on to say also the reason we love sharing our dreams and why other people usually don't give two craps about them have far less to do with the plot or contents of the dream than the emotional resonance of it. That is what you felt. It's why so many times when you're relating a dream to someone, you get caught up in the details. It was like my old school, but it was also my workplace. When the most compelling part to you is emotions connected to those items, which are harder to convey to other people. That is, you're fascinated by the mix of nostalgia, anxiety, and other ambivalent feelings provoked by the mix of items in your dream. Dude, this sort of paragraph, when I read this, like
Wow, man.
for me, first of all, I totally agree with what he's saying. The fact that it's
True. True.
always the emotional connect that we have with the dreams. It's never the
True.
plot, and
Yeah.
we just get focused on the plot. And for
That's
me,
some
this
like
sort of
great
connected so
writing, man.
much with
Like hats off.
Inception.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, it's a very great write-up. Like I felt so like I felt so happy that someone actually wrote this for me. Like he was just sharing something in the community, but I consider this as something he wrote for me on a very
Yeah.
personal basis. But dude, the way when I read this, I just got connected to Inception because I was like, in many ways, Inception is all about the story of Cobb dealing with his guilt. If you look at from a very
Yeah.
emotional side of things, it's a story of Cobb dealing with his guilt. And the way how he said that it's always the
Yeah.
emotions that is focused on dreams, I really think that I feel like Nolan also
True.
probably had the same kind of thinking while writing this movie. Even though it's like I feel like I can see the undertones of what
Yeah.
Clayton has written with Inception, and it just blew my mind. And with the conclusion paragraph, he says that
True,
there
man.
are
True.
so many theories about dreams and why certain ones stick out to us. From a counseling slash psychological perspective, whether or not dreams are our subconscious mind trying to tell us something or just random synapses firing off and creating a surreal nonsense in our heads, analyzing dreams can be incredibly helpful to gain a better understanding of yourself, because the parts of the dream that stand out to you the most are often the parts of yourself that you repress, ignore, or have forgotten in your waking hours. Those emotions the dream provoked resonate resonate with you because it's not something you actively think about during the day. Your dream has brought it back to the surface. Dream analysis isn't so much about finding the hidden meaning in dreams, so much as exploring what elements and emotions in the dream affect you the most, and figuring out why that is. And with that, he ends. I
Hats
wish
off,
you could see
man.
Jay's face. Jay's, Jay's literally
Wow,
like,
like hats
my
off, dude,
God.
dude. I hate creative people, and just right away saying, just saying it. I just
For
hate
me,
creative
this
people.
write-up
I
is
hate
like
artists who can write.
when I just read this write-up, I'm
I
like,
hate artists who can paint. I just everyone
you.
like who
I
has
feel
some
like you hate
creativity.
everyone.
Here I am.
See, Jay hates
Nah,
artists.
not
Jay
everyone.
hates people with hair. Jay hates people with hair.
No, no, no. That's not true, man. That's not true.
But dude, I had to give a hats off to you, man, Clayton. I don't know if you will ever listen to this, but dude, we are indebted to you because you just made this podcast episode a whole lot better. Like that is actually something for the listeners to gain out of this podcast. Okay,
Yeah,
with that, let's get back to Inception. That was a nice sort of segue, I guess. Nice, a little bit of break from
yeah,
the Inception movie, just to give it a little bit of meaning. But I just want to talk about the team that they assemble. So if you look at the movie, obviously because of everything that's going for Inception for the movie, like you have so many plot points introduced, you have the entire story with Cobb. The other supporting actors don't really get to do a lot, basically. Like they don't really have arcs per se. I feel like the only character who probably has some kind of depth is Saito, but it's not essentially an hindrance to the
yeah,
movie. I think it works well for the movie.
yeah. I guess all the character are like we kind of say that this movie has an ensemble cast because everyone is contributing something to the story. They're not just there for like
Yeah.
being a puppet or something like just for comic relief and all
Hmm.
that. They're every
Yeah.
character has some role to play in the dream.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I would say like primarily it's a story of Cobb, and Saito also comes
yeah,
into the picture because he's the one who kicks in the plot, basically like the entire plot idea. And
yeah,
then I think Fisher also comes into
mm.
play because of the emotional aspect that he has with his
Yeah,
father.
exactly. Yeah,
So I feel
I
like these
think
three are
he's
the
the one
pillars
who
of the
has
movie.
went through a proper arc. Yeah, I think Fisher
Yeah,
is the
yeah, yeah,
one who has went through a proper arc. Yeah,
yeah. I feel like Cobb also goes through
yeah, yeah,
a kind of arc because he sort of accepts the guilt that he's facing. So and I mean like
true,
Saito's
true.
character doesn't
Yeah,
really go through much of an arc, but I feel like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
actually a movie about Cobb and Fisher. If you like look at it from a very like a different point of view, and I like the fact that they are the two characters who work together. Like it never occurred to me before, like when
yeah,
like watched it before, but like rewatching this now, I'm like actually it is their movie. Like it's a movie about Cobb and it's a movie about Fisher. Like it's a great
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But like all
I
the
just love
characters, all the
how you
characters.
ends it. It's a great movie. Yeah,
I actually was at a loss for words. I was like, how do I end this sentence?
it's a
But I
great
must say,
movie,
like,
man.
yeah, I must say, like, all of the cast members, like, they all have a distinct personality to them, which I really like. Like, everyone is distinct. It's not like
Yeah,
they just took some robot sort of characters. Everyone is distinct. Like,
yeah, yeah.
when you take Arthur's character, if you take Eames's character, if you take Yusuf's character, if you take Aaron
Mm,
Page's character, all of them are pretty
yeah,
unique to the story, which I really sort of greatly
true.
appreciate. So
Yeah,
we talked about for Cillian Murphy's character, Robert Fisher, obviously. Like his character definitely is probably the anchor of the movie in many ways. Like he is a character
mm,
who kind of they steal from. In many ways, you can say he's the bank. Like in a heist movie,
yeah,
Robert Fisher's character is like the bank kind of guy. Although the
yeah.
only difference is that they're trying to sort of put money instead of steal money. If that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
perfect analogy, man. Yeah, great. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So the next thing which I want to discuss is the chase scene. Uh, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, for a second, I thought I lost you, man.
Okay. No, like there is so much voice disruption, man. I don't know why it's doing.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do.
Just keep saying it.
Should I maybe just try connecting to my Wi-Fi here?
Yeah, just
Let me
do
just
that.
see.
Like because it's looking like that's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just did some. I just did some Windows network diagnostics, and I guess it worked. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
it's much better now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's good. Like I stopped at the chase scene,
Okay.
so it's like I was going to start talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the chase scene. Dude, that is like I know it's a really small aspect of the film, and people would be
Yeah.
like the chase scene, why? But for me, this is the best chase scene. Like for me, okay, maybe calling the best chase scene might be the wrong thing, but for me, like
Yeah.
I like this chase scene so much, and the chase scene, like if people are confused, we're referring to the chase scene where Cobble, the company who hired Leonardo DiCaprio, the company who hired Cobb to carry out a particular job, they kind of find him as he is trying to recruit Eames for the job,
Yeah.
and they kind of chase him throughout the streets. And the reason why I like this chase scene so much is that the struggle that Leonardo DiCaprio's character goes through
Mhm.
as he's trying to escape from these goons.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, it's very messy. He's just like going through crowds and getting stuck in between walls, and
Oh yes,
there's even
yeah.
a dude, that shot where he gets stuck between walls,
Oh
the
yeah.
camera just goes to it's so well done. Like, I still don't know how they managed to fit the camera through those walls.
Yeah.
Like, man, I have to watch the BTS of that. I've watched a lot of BTS of Inception, but there are definitely a few areas I still need to cover. But
Yeah.
there's also a scene where a car is sort of approaching Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and
Yeah.
he gets away from the car in the last minute,
Yeah.
and the goon who's behind him like crashes headfirst to the glass of the car. And I'm like, it's edited so well that it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And one other aspect of this chase scene is the music. The music, dude, there has to be a disclaimer to this music.
Hmm.
Don't listen to this music while you're driving your car
True.
because you will overspeed.
Well, like, and, it goes for every Hans Zimmer track. Like,
Yeah. No,
it's
but
something else, especially for
dude,
Inception, I guess.
yeah, but this track now, it's called Mombasa.
Hmm.
It's so good. It's like, oh my, it's like if you listen to this while jogging, guaranteed you will become fitter in like a week maybe.
Fitter like a
Because you would
week.
just keep running. You would be like, ah,
Yeah.
I just keep running.
Uh, Either you
Do
will
you
be
have?
fit in 1 week or you will leave doing fitness like forever.
No, no, man. I'm telling you, there's only one alternative. Like you will get fitter.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you have any more things to add about the chase scene?
No, it was just cool to watch. Like it was one of the many aspects to like about the movie, and it was
Yeah.
definitely a cool chase sequence in the middle.
Actually, one other thing which I want to talk about is the style of action that Nolan shoots. So Nolan is not a particular guy. Like if you watch his movies, he's not one of those single shot directors
Yeah.
who likes to take action scenes single shot, which I really like. I really love single shot action scenes.
Hmm.
He likes to cut around a lot of his action because he's someone who stresses a lot on impact
True.
rather than the fight choreography. If you notice, even in the Batman Begins movie, I think Dark Knight Rises not so much. I think in Dark Knight Rises he tried to keep the camera as still as possible. If
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
notice, like you
Yeah.
can actually
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
most of the fights.
That
But
was
if
one
you
of
look
the
at
complaint in Dark Knight. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like and because of that, you can actually even notice stuntman falling there, like not getting their cue and just falling down without getting any impact. Dark
Yeah.
Knight Rises does have a few falls like that, but I think in Inception he uses his he cuts a lot in Inception in the action scenes. Like it's never a straight cut action scene, but
Yeah.
I think it works really well in Inception. Like
True.
because even though he cuts around so much,
Yeah.
you get every point. It's not that you're confused as to where everyone is.
Yeah.
Get everything, you get the points, and it actually makes the action more impactful. And this doesn't always happen. Usually, I hate it when they cut around the action scenes.
Yeah.
And in this, but I think in this one they do a pretty good job in keeping they cut around the action so that it's very impactful. But at the same time, you're not lost watching it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just one point. I thought I would bring it up later, but I thought, what the heck,
I can
I'll bring
see
it up
you're
now.
too excited for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another thing which I want to talk about. Obviously, I sort of designed all the points for this podcast.
Yeah.
So another thing which I want to talk about is that okay, they finally get to the dream. Okay, they're finally in the stage, and things go completely wrong. Where it's sort of known that Fisher's subconscious is actually military, like it's trained to deal with intruders
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
and the entire thing goes up in flames basically,
Yeah.
and Saito's character is injured. And this puts a lot of stakes to the movie because now they have a ticking
True.
clock. Because
Exactly. Yeah.
Saito's literally the ticking clock.
Hmm.
Like that's what I said even before. I said that Fisher's like the bank. Like it's like it has all the ingredients of a heist movie. Like Fisher is the bank, and
Yeah.
Saito is like I think probably the time they had to finish it up, and when everything goes like he's literally the ticking bomb
Yeah.
of the whole thing. Like if he dies, the entire thing goes up in flames, and he does die in the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, like it all happens in the end, but we don't know that when we watch it initially. When we watch it initially, we are like, oh man,
Yeah.
shit, what's going to happen? But they still go ahead with the mission,
Yeah.
and can I just say I love the three stages. You have the rainy stage, like the whole rainy stage where a train comes through randomly in the street,
Yeah.
and that
That's like,
train is actually practical. Do
yeah.
you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. I've
It's
seen the behind the scenes, man.
yeah,
It was
it's like they just like mounted it on a truck or something, so
yeah.
it's actually like that. But dude, things like that really impresses me a lot.
And the like the dedication behind the movie, like especially the commitment of Christopher Nolan, like we all know how much he loves using visual effects and CGI.
Yeah,
He so
yeah.
much love it using it, but still he tries to keep it to minimum.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he uses it the right way. Like
Yeah,
he recognizes what these like tools can do, but he
exactly.
uses it more to like
Yeah.
put more emphasis on the practical effects that he sort of already sort of uses. And
For me, that makes things more interesting to watch. The
yeah,
the the fact that this is not some visual effects or CG. This is just
yeah,
whole special effects, like actually
yeah,
practical effects. Like
yeah.
for say the Dark Knight, the truck scene.
The truck flip scene, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Even
like, oh my god.
even elements of that Bane introduction scene in Dark Knight Rises was
Yeah,
practical. So
oh, that was
that just
like,
blows my
oh.
mind.
Yeah. And the hallway scene, man. We have to talk about the hallway
We
scene
are
in
we are we are
Inception.
getting to the hallway scene. We are
Yeah.
getting to the hallway scene. Wait, I guess we can talk about the hallway scene now. But like we talked about we'll just talk about the first acts with the rain sort of thing and where everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And you have Eames's character. I really, one of the standouts for me was Eames's character, the character played by Tom Hardy. Dude, his
Yeah.
character is such a nice, like it's his character, especially his sort of camaraderie with Arthur's character, like
Yeah.
the love-hate relationship that they have, is it's great. It's not even a comic relief kind of character. He's really like this very confident sort of character who,
True.
he gives some very good comedic moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Like this movie doesn't really call for comedy moments, but he
Yeah.
actually delivers a few comedic moments.
Tom Hardy is a charismatic actor, man. He's just like, if he's on screen, you can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the only reason why I like Venom is because of his chemistry with the symbiote.
Especially that scene in the restaurant. That's the only scene which
Yeah.
that sold me on it, where he goes and steps into the tank.
That was hysterical. Yeah. That was it.
That was a weird scene.
And
But
yeah,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I'd like to bring one point. I've like seen Screen Rant or like Cinema Sense. I don't know. Screen Junkies, yeah. Screen
Hmm.
Junkies review of Venom, and in it, he mentions such a great point that like in many of his movies, like Dark Knight Rises, Mad Max, and
He doesn't
couple
see
of
his,
more.
we can't see his face.
No, yeah, like there is a
Yeah.
mask in his
Like
face, so
Dunkirk as well.
yeah, Dunkirk as well. And when the mask finally lifts off and he starts talking, like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." So that's the reason they were putting a mask on Tom Hardy's face, and I was like, oh my god, this is so true.
I know that's a joke, but I could totally disagree. He's like, dude, there's a scene between him and Arthur where like like his the protection, the subconscious protection of Fisher
Yeah,
is sort of like circling around the warehouse where they are in,
yeah.
and Arthur like tries to get them, but he can't. Like he shoots a couple of rounds, he can't get them, and Ian just goes to him and says, "You have to dream a lot bigger, my dear." And then he just shoots, and the way he does that, it's so cool. Like such a chill
Yeah,
character, man.
yeah, that makes so much sense. Like when you are in a
Yeah,
dream, go for bazooka or something like that, man. Don't use
yeah,
SMG and all.
yeah. And I like his character, like how he's like the guy who he's like the actor out of all of them. Like he has to like
Y-
pretend to be other
Yeah,
characters and stuff like
yeah,
that. And I really like the fact that I noticed this more when I rewatched it that they actually show him going and working in Fisher's office, trying
yeah,
to learn his uncle's mannerisms and stuff like that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. Like you would expect that in a Nolan film, you know? He
True,
would
definitely.
always try
Small
to cover
details.
all
Yeah,
bases.
yeah,
Yeah. So let's talk about the hallway fight. So the
yeah.
second aspect of the dream is the hotel,
Hmm.
and then we have the hallway fight. There are a couple of things I want to say. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is the main lead of this movie, and you would think that the main lead of the movie would get the biggest action set piece,
Yeah.
but no. Like I like the fact that Nolan is like, no, his character doesn't need to be here right now.
Exactly.
This
Yeah,
action scene belongs to Arthur, and he's going to do this.
yeah,
And dude, just the execution of that scene. I had no idea it was actually practical when I first,
yeah. True, true,
watched the
true.
movie.
Yeah,
Like, but when I watched the behind the scenes, it blew me away. Like, just seeing the setup where they like constructed this big wheel and they
yeah,
had the floor built
yeah.
inside the wheel and they spun the wheel around for the entire floor to go around. Dude.
Like, I just want to say, those who have not seen the behind the scenes of, please watch it in YouTube. It's such like it will definitely blow you if you like the action scene, like that hallway scene in particular in the movie. After watching the behind the scenes, you will love it more. You will appreciate it more, at least.
It's great, man. Like you have Yusuf like driving the van, and his van
Yeah,
sort of spins out of control, and then you have the entire hallway just go. It's so
yeah.
great, and the music is amazing.
Oh,
Like,
that dramatic man, Hans
like,
Zimmer.
and you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Like, and then you have the gun sliding down as Arthur
Yeah.
and then his goon or whoever he's fighting with like struggles to get to the gun, and the music keeps like like as the gun like he misses the hand and just slips down, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that was like
it's
intense, man.
amazing.
It was intense.
It's so good,
And
so
it
good.
kept on going, the hallway scene was
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
on going after
It
that.
goes to a different room.
Yeah,
It goes to a different room. And they had two of these sets where they
yeah,
did
yeah,
one set. And apparently, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt said that the second set was a lot harder to shoot because the dimensions of the room, like in the hallway, it's a lot more symmetrical, I guess.
yeah,
But in the room, it's not symmetrical. Like you can say one area is longer than the other areas, so it
yeah.
was actually tougher to shoot in that sort of. But I think they didn't spend much time in the second room. Like it
True.
was mostly the fighting for the gun and sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
being like oh. And I like the fact that after the thing ends, Arthur just shoots him and it's over. And Yusuf he just manages to win the truck under control and he just turns back and he's like and he just thinks that everyone's in the dream. He's like, oh man, no one saw it. Like, I was such a badass and no one saw it. Dude, I love those three sort of dimensions, and it plays a lot like a game. This,
Yeah.
like, just the concepts of this movie, and I really hope that they actually make a game out of this. I think a game would be the best way to sort of continue some of the plot elements that they have in the movie,
Mm.
because I don't want a sequel. There was talk that maybe a TV show, and I think a TV show could also work, like
Mm.
an HBO kind of HBO original series,
But
but it can't focus on these characters, or at
yeah,
least not on Cobb's character. Like I can totally see a series like focusing on Arthur and Eames and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think that could work, but I don't want to see Cobb's character because I think he got a
No,
very
yeah,
good story in this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, but I highly doubt that's ever going to happen because, like, first of all, Christopher Nolan won't do it. Second,
Yeah.
if it's not directed or made or written by Christopher Nolan, then I don't think it's gonna work. It's the
Yeah, but
same.
his brother is involved in TV productions, right?
Yeah,
Jonathan Nolan
yeah. I'm
in
glad you
Westworld
brought
and
it
stuff
up.
like that.
I'm actually watching his and his wife's first TV series, I guess, Westworld. Like,
Person of Interest is also Jonathan Nolan, is it?
I
Person of
don't.
Interest?
I have to say
Because I
maybe.
think it was based on a concept in Dark Knight. If I remember, you know that the concept in the end of Dark Knight, where he's like he has the ability to scan everywhere to find the Joker in the end.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
okay, okay.
it was based on that sort of technology. It's not
Yeah,
related to that, but
Jonathan Nolan is one of the writers of that.
yeah, it was like apparently that concept kind of was brought in person. I have not watched it fully. I
Yeah.
watched maybe a few episodes here and there. I don't really remember it much, but I think it ran for 5 seasons, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I need to definitely check that out. But I'm just saying, like, if someone like Jonathan Nolan gets involved,
Hmm.
and if I mean, it's and HBO Max needs content.
Yeah.
Like, it's a new streaming service. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that they have to do this, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like a
It would be
TV
cool.
show,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, a TV show not focused on Cobb's character, where they had the
And
budget to pull off movie level VFX.
you know what would be better than that? Like, do a mini series on that character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would be much better because, like, obviously, big actors such as like Joseph Gordon-Levitt won't be able to give.
Yeah, yeah, they
Mu-
won't be available full on,
yeah,
especially
exactly.
characters like
Just like,
actors like Tom Hardy also.
yeah,
Like,
MCU is
they
doing
won't be
with
available.
the Loki and all mini series.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Something like that, like a 5 or 6 episode one,
yeah, that would be
where you
perfect.
can
That would be
you can just
perfect. Yeah,
focus on one heist.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
just
yeah,
focus on one heist again. I think it would be cool. I feel like we can still see a lot more of this world.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and
True.
one other thing, as I was actually saying this point that they could make an amazing game out of this. Like, I don't know how. Like,
Huh.
the mechanics would be probably pretty difficult, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like a game could maybe work. It would be a game changer. The game would be a game changer.
Game
No
changer.
pun intended.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that Nolan actually had considered something like that,
Oh.
like a video game. Like, I don't know how true that is, but
Hmm.
at least initially, like, he actually considered it. And if this was an old movie, we actually would have gotten a tie-in movie video game. Like, now they don't do games like that, but like
Yeah.
all of those games were bad. The tie-in video games to movies, like all of those games are bad. But it's still nice to see that Ali, there's a game for this. There's a game of
Yeah.
Batman Begins. Okay, it's
True.
crap, but still there's a game. Anyway, like we talked about the action scene. Do you want to talk a little bit about Cobb's character,
Hmm.
his sort of growth throughout the movie?
Uh, like it's his character arc is very like very untypical. Sorry, not like what is his character arc?
So I mean, so his character arc is that he's dealing with the guilt of the death of his wife
Yeah.
because he was the one who planted the idea in her mind,
Hmm.
which did cause her to die. So throughout the movie, you have him dealing with his guilt, and Nolan does a great job of sort of visually showing that.
Yeah.
Like you have his wife show up multiple times throughout the dreams
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So throughout the movie, you have him sort of dealing with his guilt and dealing with the fact that dreams are not reality. Like
Yeah.
even in the end, when he goes back to take Saito, he's the one who convinces Saito that you are in a dream.
Yeah.
This isn't real. So I see Nolan has been criticized, at least by some people, for not having emotional characters in his movies. Like he's praised for having all these, really great concepts and
Hmm.
visually sort of defining movies. But
Yeah.
one thing he's sort of criticized is the emotional aspect of the characters. I would disagree to the point where I'm like, maybe it's not on your face sort of emotion.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the Dark Knight trilogy, I totally felt for the character of Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
Like throughout, I feel like people don't give that enough credit. I totally felt like Christian Bale's performance throughout those three movies. I
Hmm.
felt for him, man. Like when he I felt it when when his parents died and he sort of dealt with being Batman and sort of like how he sort of overcomes his fears in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like the where you have the why do you fall scene. And I would
Yeah.
say that the Batman biggest movie is the one movie where he gets a lot of character development.
Hmm.
But even in The Dark Knight, where he deals with the death of Rachel, where he
Yeah.
deals with, quitting or being Batman, or in Dark Knight Rises, where, he is sort of brought back and you have this confrontation between Alfred and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, those scenes actually did hit me. So I would say that it's not very on your face the way how Nolan does things, but I
Hmm.
think it's definitely there. And I think even with Cobb's character, you definitely connect with his character. like especially when it's revealed. And I think the only problem, the only flaw is probably that they reveal that as a twist that
Hmm.
he did plan the idea in his wife's head.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I think I would definitely say that it's only upon rewatches that I actually emotionally connected with Cobb's character like fully
Yeah. Hmm.
because it was a twist in the movie. So maybe, and especially when I first watched it, I probably didn't get that emotional sort of feeling to Cobb's character. But
Hmm.
having said that, like that's just Inception. I would say Interstellar, I totally felt for the main character. Like
Oh
Interstellar,
yes,
like
yes,
emotionally,
yes.
dude, completely felt for the main character. But what are your thoughts on that? Like Nolan's sort of emotional,
My take on
the
this will
depiction
be,
of emotional characters in
like
Nolan movies.
Nolan is not meant to do a typical kind of movie, which like especially what do we say? Not I want to criticize it, but a kind of like stereotype. Like let's go with
Yeah,
that. Okay, like we have been shown like for especially for our cinema, like Indian cinema, emotion is like in every scene there is like overstressed
true, true.
emotion and all,
Yeah,
and just is the opposite of Christopher Nolan. If you look at the filmography of his, at like I said in the beginning, at its core, the story is filled with emotions. Like
yeah.
take Prestige, take Memento, take Interstellar, take
Yeah,
Dunkirk.
Prestige, especially, it's like the rivalry between those two,
Yeah,
magicians, and
ex-
that actually carries the entire movie.
yeah, and I think in Inception, there was no need to focus on the emotion. Like there was no need to go into the depth of that emotional angle, but they showed it very cleverly. The as you said, the relationship of Cobb and Maul within the within the movie, they
Yeah.
unfolds it in a very
And his
clever
pursuit
way.
of getting back home to see his kids, which is
Yeah,
actually pretty, it's a
yeah,
pretty
man,
emotional
that
thing, actually.
itself is like pretty convincing to everyone. Like
Yeah,
at its core, it's just a father who wants to get back to his children,
hmm,
and he is doing whatever it takes to get back to them.
yeah, true, true,
Yeah,
true.
it itself is such a moving concept, man.
Yeah, but I think why people didn't connect with maybe at least on the first viewing, you
Yeah,
don't get all of that.
yeah,
Like especially like I would definitely admit that it was only in the second or third viewing that I actually felt
true, true.
emotionally connected to the
Like,
cop's character because I'm like
yeah,
he just wanted to see his kids. And the thing is that they never show the kid's face
yeah,
throughout the movie.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
only in the end where you see their faces, and it's also the only time where cops sees their faces after a
yeah,
long time. He
yeah.
left and then he couldn't see their face, and that's I think that's very sort of nice way of wrapping things up. Do
I
you
think
have any more thoughts? Oh, go,
like
go on.
like every Christopher Nolan movie, you can't just watch it once and just skip it,
True,
like
true.
move on with it. You have to
Yeah,
watch at least twice, thrice, four times,
yeah.
as much as you can to enjoy it fully. There are so many minor details in the movie which you obviously will miss in the first couple of viewings. So you just can't watch Christopher Nolan movie one time and just say whatever you want to say.
True, true. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Do you have any more thoughts on Inception?
No, no, no. Like I'm saving most of my thoughts for the video only.
So,
That's the reason why I'm not saying much because like I, I have prepared a 1600 word video essay script. So
so
I have
guys, I would say don't watch it. Just watch this podcast. You don't need those 1600 words in your life. But guys, I would that's why I would definitely recommend. I have no idea when this will come out.
yeah.
Maybe Jay's video will be up before this because
Array,
we might take
I
some
wish,
time
man, I wish.
to sort of edit this all out and sort of iron out the gaps because of the fragile internet connection that we have.
Yeah.
But but do subscribe to our channel so that you can actually watch those videos that Jay puts up, and
Yeah.
hopefully maybe after 2 3 weeks, I will be able to help him out and put out stuff. So
Yeah. It is my
that's
first
this.
attempt to make a video essay on anything, and it's
Yeah.
Inception, so
And he
fortunately,
picked
yeah.
he picked the probably the most difficult topic to make a video.
Yeah. Let's see
So
how it
yeah,
goes.
it's going to be a total train wreck. We all know that. No, I'm just joking. It's going to be awesome. I'm pretty sure. Pretty
Yeah.
sure. And I just want to end this Inception review by saying that the movie, the plot of the movie sort of kicks in with Saito telling Cobb's character to take a leap of faith on him honoring
Yeah.
the deal of
Hmm.
him getting to see his kids. And the movie ends with Cobb saying back to Saito to take a leap of faith
Leap of faith, yeah.
to convince him that this is not a dream. And I think that's it's an observation which I never caught on before. and it's only during my rewatch like 2 days back where I was like, oh man, that's so great.
That's what I'm talking about. You just can't watch Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
movie once and like, yeah, I've done with it.
So with that, let's leap into some of the stories that we have for
Yeah,
today's episode.
it's story time.
Look at that smooth segue, man. Like, how good
Oh
was
my
that
God.
segue? Like,
Too good,
I,
man.
d-
You're just too,
yeah,
it's
just
too good, man. You're just too good.
I deserve an Oscar. So we have actually 11 stories. We have 11 stories. I'm going to read all 11 of them because,
Yes,
I will honor everyone who responded to my
yes,
thread.
yeah.
So, as I said before, most of these stories come from the Weekly Planet podcasting page. Wait, that's a
Hmm.
different group. So the the Great Meets Planet Broadcasting group. No, there are many subgroups. Like there's a Pod Meets group. There's a
Yeah.
group like it's like multiverse over there. Like it's a great community. I mean, I would definitely suggest do check out the Planet Broadcasting Network. It has some amazing podcasts over there. Like dude, like the only that group is what gets me through the day. Like honestly, like I'm not even lying. Like many people over there have the same opinion as me. And it's very nice to sort of have this group of like-minded people where you just share nerdy stuff, which is also the intention of this sort of podcast as well. So
Yeah.
so the first story is from Alex T. Bennett. Definitely got your name right. I don't think I
Yes.
could have messed that up. But there will definitely be a few names here which I would mess up.
Yeah.
So I had asked him about like, do you have any weird sort of dream stories to share? So these are the responses I got. So the first one is from Alex T. Bennett. There's one where when I was young, at school, I had a vial of presumably explosive pink liquid. I ended up dropping the vial and it exploded a pink mushroom cloud. And it turned everyone in contact with it into weird zombies. Then I woke
Bro,
up.
that's just like that could be a story of like a
I
good
think he,
zombie movie.
yeah, I think what happened is he probably watched The Walking Dead and probably he slept,
Yeah,
and
probably, man. Probably. Yeah,
or
yeah.
he watched a zombie movie.
Yeah.
But dude, that was a great story, Alex T. Bennett.
Hmm.
The next one is from Andrew Gibson, and he actually gives us two stories. So actually, we have 12 stories if we count this as
Wow.
two. So the
Wow.
stories just keep increasing. Yeah, okay. So I vividly remember a couple of stories from when I was a kid, along with the context of where I had them, which is great. So he has a dream and he knows the context as well.
Wow.
One was at my great grandmother's house where I dreamed that I was on a tour of a cartoony factory. Big ass gears and such. Like it was a very like cartoony factory. You know how you see a cartoony factory. Like they had all these machines were running everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Disney character Pete was our tour guide. And he got increasingly ticked at me because I kept telling everyone that we were in a dream. That's his first dream story. And this reminded
What?
me a lot. So basically, the Disney character Pete, got really
Yeah.
aggravated at him because he kept telling everyone else that we are in a dream. So he was
Yeah.
aware that he was in a dream.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of
Wow.
Inception. It actually reminds me of Inception, where they tell him never tell the subject that you're actually in a dream. So that's what he
Yeah.
was doing, basically. He probably
That's
watched Inception and some Disney movie before sleeping, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Okay, this other dream is much more hilarious than the first one, and
Hmm.
this one actually made me laugh a lot.
Oh,
So the
okay.
other dream I had was when a friend was over, and he went outside to play, and while I, ever the good host, took a nap in front of the TV. I dreamed that I was at the house of a family friend, and every room I went into had a dead salmon following me, being dragged on an invisible string. This house had a bit of a fish motif with big fish tanks and intended fish designs on the floor. So I think that might be why I had such a weird association.
Oh, bro,
So
what was that?
he basically had a weird dead fish chasing him through the rooms of the house.
I can't even imagine a dead fish chasing me. That's like my top five worst nightmares of all times.
Oh, dude,
Dead
we
fish
can
just
do that. We can
jumping, you know?
we can pick the weirdest dream after reading all of these. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's do that. That'll be more
Yeah,
fun. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it's not a competition, but it's
yeah,
fun to read everyone's weird dreams. Okay,
yeah.
now this one I need to get the name right. Oh my
Hmm.
god, this oh my god, I'm going for it. I'm going
You
for
can
it.
do it, Manoj. You can do it.
Uh,
Come on.
th- this next one is from Connor O. Shaughnessy.
Oh.
I I think I got it right. I hope I got it right. He even told me that good luck getting my name right. But okay, anyway, okay, this one is not that weird, but it's still a fun dream. I dreamt last night I was on a flight sitting next to an American girl. Never seen this girl before in my life. I guess let's just play this as a Bond sort of scenario, James Bond sort of scenario. Like, let's just imagine him as James Bond and he's sitting in a flight next to this very beautiful American woman. Let's just imagine that
Yeah.
scenario. And him being James Bond, we both ordered packets of Oreos. Not a very James Bond thing to do, but we're going with the James Bond thing.
I was about to say the same thing. Not a very James Bondish
So
thing to do.
we both ordered packets of Oreos, and I was really happy with mine. But she complained that they weren't frozen, and all Oreos in US come frozen from the freezer, which I know isn't true. No idea why I dreamt this. I haven't eaten Oreos in months. That's probably the reason why you dreamt this. Have an Oreo, man.
Have an Oreo, man.
That's our message from Nerdistan Podcast.
Yeah, man, have an Oreo. Come on. Just have it.
So next one is from Daryl Finland. I had a dream not long ago. I was in an old Western movie salon and got in a punch up with a bunch of dudes. So I guess it's like a bar fight. So he was like literally just hitting all the dudes over there. There was some kind of a gang, and their leader was Stephen Fry. Now,
Wow.
for context, Stephen Fry, the one movie that probably listeners know him is probably Game of Shadows. He played Sherlock Holmes' brother in that movie. I don't know if that. I'm pretty sure there are probably better sort of recommendations on which movie Stephen Fry has appeared in, but he's a pretty famous actor, and I would say just Google him because that actually gives more context to the story. Like, just Google him and just imagine him being in this western as his
Hmm.
rival gang leader.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll just read this again. There was some kind of gang, and their leader was Stephen Fry in this massive wide brim cowboy hat, like completely oversized. I don't remember the details, but ended up trying to shoot him point blank, and my revolver kept misfiring over and over again. Then he continues, Fry the bastard shanked me in the stomach with a pocket knife, and I woke up as he shot me.
I just love how
That
he went so much to describe him.
that dream stayed with me, and now I can't even look at Stephen Fry the same way. Come on, man, Stephen Fry is still pretty cool.
Yeah. He's
Don't do that. Don't do that to Stephen Fry. But dude, when I read this, I was like, this is the first Western dream I've read so far. I just I found this very funny. It's a Western kind of dream. Uh, do you want me to go to the next one?
Yeah,
We are,
yeah.
we are, we are going through this really quick. How many more stories do we have? We have six more. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So next one is from Josh Goodman. I actually have a lot more fun in this session than the movie review session. If I'm being totally honest, because it's
Yeah,
really fun
stories are
listening.
fun to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is actually pretty weird. This story is from Josh Goodman. I was once wearing a wizard hat, locked in a hanging cage, in a cave, with a big derp face on, shooting lightning bolts out of my hands, aiming to hit small lizards. And he goes on to describe them as the lizards from the Amazing Spider-Man movie. And he
Wow.
was aiming to hit these lizards to keep me alive. That's his story.
That's
Then,
definitely a weird one for sure.
and he said that the hat he had on was the classic blue hat and cloak covered in stars. The normal sort of magician attire. Because I told him that I sort of imagined the hat to be the sorting hat from the Harry Potter movies, but that
Yeah.
wasn't the case. I can imagine this as, the sorting hat is in his head and just giving him instructions. Come on, hit over
Yeah.
there.
Now when you put up like that, it's hilarious.
Okay, the next one is from Andrew Weigel. I really hope I got the pronunciation right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. In 2010, I had no school on that day. It was summer, and I fell asleep for a nice say. I said it as Rachel said it in that one friend said, asleep? Anyway, okay, I'll continue. Okay, I'll say it from the start. I totally
Yeah.
ruined that. 2010, I had no school on that day. It was summer, and I fell asleep for a nice siesta after lunch. Later, I woke up, got up from bed and out of my room, and wanted to go into the living room. I opened the living room, And on the other side, the room is spiraling like a bad movie effect, but really intense. I wake up drenched and still in bed, and I'm confused as fuck.
What?
So basically, I even asked him, is this like the Logan effect? You know, when Professor X goes all OP in the movie, in
Yeah,
the entire hotel room, and the entire thing starts shaking, like the
yeah,
entire hotel room. So I sort of imagine that kind of scenario that happened with him.
yeah. Like, I'm so fascinated by how you are giving different context to each of the stories, which are making it more lively and fictional as well.
Yeah, I'm connecting this to every movie that I know.
Yeah.
The next one might be something which many of our listeners might not get. It's not really like we are Indians primarily, and this has some references to American culture mainly, but I'll still read it out because he was kind enough to sort of comment on our post, and it's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good one. So Mike Dunphy says, I had a recurring dream. No, I had recurring dreams where I'm best friends with Hulk Hogan and would be at his
Wow.
house for barbecue. So that's the first part, which I'm pretty sure most people will get. And
Yeah.
this is the most like coolest, chillest dream I can think of. Like
Yeah.
you're just hanging out with them and you're like, hey man, what's up? Now the next one is all I he also says one more dream. I also had a dream where the ghost of Tupac came to visit me and told me to keep it real. So Tupac is a
Wow.
very famous rapper
Wow.
for people
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
don't know. He's a very famous rapper who probably is not really from our time.
No. Yeah.
He tragically passed away before most of us are probably even born, due to the listeners of the
Yeah.
podcast. But
Yeah.
dude, it's a pretty fascinating dream. I like that both of us dreams have something to do with celebrities.
Yeah, man. Like two of the most coolest celebrities in their
Yeah,
field,
yeah.
Tupac Shakur and Hulk Hogan. Damn.
Yeah. So the next one is from Michael William Schmidt. This past week, I had only been asleep for 20-30 minutes, where I twitched in my sleep and punched the glass of water on my nightstand, then frantically had to unplug my clock and phone before the water got on the extension cord. So this is not really a dream; it's more of his experience of having.
I'm sure he must be tired.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. The next one again. Oh my God. This is again one which the name is a bit complicated one, and I have no idea if I'll get it right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going for it, man. I'm going for
Come
it.
on, Manoj. You can do it.
Patrick Hulcher.
Oh.
Nice, right? I think I got that right. I don't know if I got that right. Mate, if I didn't get it right, do let me know. Like,
Man, right
because
now
I
the
don't
only
like,
person who is
yeah,
listening
I
to
don't
it,
like
and
messing
I
up.
definitely think you got it.
Oh my, thanks, Jay. Like, thanks for the confidence, man. So, I used to have a recurring nightmare of being run over by a bus while going to college. I used to get woken up just at the moment when the bus rolled over my head, crushing my teeth between the wheel and the upside. I did some research and apparently it was likely just a manifestation of me grinding my teeth in my sleep, probably due to
Oh.
stress. So now I actually read this, and I actually have had a very similar experience. I've been
Yeah.
told by my roommates and even by my mom, who apparently like when she like walked in, like I was sleeping and it
Yeah.
was late night, and she just came to my room for something, and she sort of saw me grinding my teeth. So I guess I have very anxious dreams, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, but when I read this, I'm like, okay, that's probably why I grind my teeth, and that
Yeah.
probably gave me a sort of reasoning to it. So,
That's a
yeah,
very insightful dream, man.
yeah, that's pretty. But dude, the fact of getting rolled over by a bus, like, and
Yeah.
that kid coming over, oh, again, I sort of imagine an edge of tomorrow situation where he
Yeah.
keeps
Oh,
waking
yes,
up.
yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
loop. He keeps waking up, and the bus keeps rolling over him, and he has to like
Yeah.
find a better way to the college.
Yeah.
I again gave the context. Now, next one, dude, this one is this one is like hilarious. The next one, it's
Okay.
from Rachel Blackham, and this is a story. Okay, one of my best remembered dreams is being a petite white blonde in a special Marines unit. That was the last stand against the Predator before humanity was lost. But
Wow.
I was more focused on getting my in dream boyfriend Ryan Reynolds to emotionally commit. He ended up dying, and I found that he had written in my favorite book all his thoughts about it and highlighted all the parts he liked, and I just cried and fell at peace.
Just let me just point out, like, that's a very accurate dream for
Ra-
for Ryan Reynolds. Like,
yeah,
he's going
I
out of the way to point
I'm
it out
pretty
in
sure
his
I
book.
dream about Ryan Reynolds all the time. I just don't know it. That's probably why my dreams are so anxious.
Yeah.
But dude, the moment I read this, I was like, yo, this is very fun. So
Yeah.
those were the stories from the Planet Great Meets Facebook group. But
Yeah.
last, I do have a story from one of my friends who
Hmm.
shared the story with me, and she was the only one who came up with the story. There were other friends who I asked, and they all said similar things to me. Like, my dreams are usually just anxious. I don't really remember it. But
Yeah.
she told me this. She married Sherlock Holmes in one of her dreams. Now, Jake,
Bro.
tell me which is
Let
your
me
favorite
just
Sherlock Holmes version?
no no
Is it the Benedict Cumberbatch one or is it the Robert Downey Jr.
no. First, let me just say that's not a dream. That was her fantasy. Okay,
one?
that's not a dream. She is manipulating us. That's
No,
definitely
no,
not a dream.
Natasha specifically told me it was her dream. But I just want
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
guess. I just want you to guess. Okay, I just want you to say which is your favorite Sherlock Holmes version? Is it the Benedict
Uh,
Cumberbatch version or is it the Robert Downey Jr. version?
man, I will go with RDJ.
Okay, so she told me she married in this dream. She actually married Benedict Cumberbatch,
Okay.
which is my favorite Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
So with that, and thanks a lot, Natasha, for giving
Wait,
me a story over here
Manoj,
because we
wait.
had.
I have surprise as well.
Yeah, wait.
Two of my friends
Oh,
send
there is
me.
more. We still have
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah, extra stories.
Bring it on, Jay. Now Jay will be narrating it, and I can just react.
I can't say about funny, but these are definitely weird. Like,
Okay.
let me just read the first one. It's from
Okay.
Simab, who is like, shout out to Simab, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he's one
he,
of the avid
yeah,
listeners to the podcast.
yeah, like, I think he's the only,
The only one
he's
who
the,
listens to a podcast. We're
yeah,
so
who
grateful
has
to him,
listened to
man.
everyone. Yes, the
I'll
shout out
buy
to
him
you,
a
man.
treat when the college starts.
Yeah. I guess by the time the college will open up, we'll be celebrities already.
Ah, bro, that's a dream.
Okay, let's just
That
continue.
is a dream. Like it.
Let's just continue. So, I'm going to read the Simab's dream. Okay. So, Simab's dream goes like this. I had this dream recently. I was chatting with my girlfriend, and my mom is getting very suspicious with I am chatting so much and why. She's acting like those typical aunties to peep in my phone and see my WhatsApp. He writes in the bracket, usually she's not like that. She gives me my space. Okay. No, unquote. My girlfriend is constantly texting something or other that vibrating buzz is making my phone revolve 360. And there is one moment where my mother is about to pick the phone and I snatches it from her hand and then we're fighting for that phone like two little stubborn kids. I'm in constant fear she will see my WhatsApp messages. Weird part is whenever I am opening laptop or PC, the WhatsApp window is open with some intimate chats and she is behind me and I'm struggling to close it. Panic situation. Another weird part of the dream was I saw phone attached to charger hanging to a rope like cloth and I'm acting normally like we charge our phone in this way only. In this, I saw Priyanka Chopra driving a red car with Shraddha Kapoor, Sonakshi Sinha, and Ananya
What?
Pandey. With these, is Rajkumar Rao is there in a tux, and they are roaming around the building where Farah Khan lives and calling her names. Yeah, that's it, man. You
Wait, so
know,
is he in the same building as Farah Khan?
y- like I have so many questions about it. First things first, when did you get a girlfriend, man? Just tell me about it. That's the first thing.
You,
That's my only concern.
Simab, you
And
can't see Jay, right? So when he just read that, no, like I had a girlfriend, and Jay literally his face just dropped, and he had this utmost sense of betrayal within him. Like he was like, how could he do
you
that?
know,
And
like
that's why if you
screw
notice, he didn't have any energy while narrating his story. He was just like, whatever, you have a girlfriend.
screw everything else. Screw Priyanka Chopra, Shraddha Kapoor, Sonakshi Sinha, Rajkumar Rao in text. When did you get a girlfriend, man? Like when? You like that's one. You should tell me, dude.
You don't have to comment in the comment. You can just DM it to Jay. He's the only one who's so aggravated by this.
Uh,
I am
the
very curious about where, like, where Rajkumar Rao, Priyanka Chopra, all of them just landed. So I'm guessing what happened was he probably saw some show, and
yeah,
this is what my assessment is. One of his
yeah,
most anxious things in life is his mom
hmm,
catching him having a
yeah,
girlfriend. So that sort of just materialized into this dream. So
true.
we are now dream experts because of that art, that big write-up given by Clayton. So we are now always going. They're going to come in like we have PhDs in dream psychology.
Yeah. Now, the last dream which I got
Yeah,
is from Ritesh. Okay,
yeah, okay.
you know Ritesh, right?
The Shadow Council head.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's a great way to describe him.
Yeah, the president of the Shadow Council head.
Oh yes, that's very well. Yeah. So his dream goes like this. I had a very awkward and yet one of the weirdest dream which I had recently. I came back from my football match drenched with sweat. While coming I was wondering where did everyone go because the entire town was ghosted, and which I later realized that everyone became aliens. I saw my dad and told him what happened. He responded, "I'm not your dad," and pointed at a snail sticking out from his head, which was a proof of being an alien. Then suddenly the next thing I saw was water splashing on me from my dad, and टैब में उठ गया तब मैं उठ गया. Okay, then I woke up.
Tap में उठ गया.
Bro, I was not ready for that, like the transition from English to Hindi.
So it was literally Skrulls, basically, what happened there. Skrulls with a nail in the head. So
Yeah.
basically, that is a Marvel. So what actually happened here is we have a tie-up. This episode is actually sponsored by the Eternals movie by Marvel. So this is actually a tie-in. We did a guerrilla marketing strategy here where we just put this in.
Hmm. You
That's
know,
not what happened.
now I'm realizing that this podcast was not about the breakdown of Inception. It was breakdown about the weird dreams we are getting. We are actually breaking it down. How would that person must have dreamt about it? What could be the reason behind it? We are actually providing a good context to it.
So, so we have had heard 14 stories now.
Yeah,
Jay, do you have? And I just want to thank everyone for sharing their stories. Like this really makes the show. And
yeah,
I would personally be thanking the Plant Creators group. I already did thank them before, like taking permission for the story. I'll probably
yeah.
be thanking them again. I also want to thank Simab and Ritesh for sharing their stories. Like, dude, it's amazing. Like, I never expected the president to share his story. So.
That is a cool dude, man.
That's, I know, dude. I always make fun of him by saying the president. He knows that. So I also need to really thank Clayton for sharing this really great write-up of his dream. But
Yeah.
Jay, let's pick a weird one. Which do you think is the weird? I'll just go over like I won't go over in detail, but I'll just go over like the one where everyone turned into zombies. The one
Yeah.
where he told everyone that he was in a dream to a Disney
Hmm.
character, Pete, or the one where a dead salmon was chasing him.
I
Or
think
the
this is the
one
one, man. Let's just
or the
just end it
one with
here.
the frozen Oreos. I'll just get through everything. You just tell me which one
Okay,
it is,
okay,
okay?
yeah,
The
yeah.
one we'll pick three weird dreams. The
Okay,
the
okay.
top three, okay? Okay,
Yeah.
the one with the frozen Oreo,
Hmm.
the one where he's in a Western movie trying to shoot Stephen Fry,
Yeah.
the one where he's a wizard trying to shoot down lizards, the one where the entire room goes like into Logan kind of effect, like Professor X kind of effect. The
Yeah.
one where he's best friends with Hulk Hogan. The
Hmm.
one where okay, this is not really a dream story, so we don't have to count this. The one where he gets run over by a bus. The one where Ryan Reynolds dies and his boyfriend. And the one where Natasha is married to Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock Holmes. The
Yeah.
one where the mom catches with weird text stories of Simam's girlfriend, and the
Yeah.
one where everyone turns into aliens. Which one would be your top three?
The first one will definitely be a man getting chased by dead fish. That's
Dead
just
fish.
next
That's
level.
the weirdest one. Okay.
Yeah.
So that one I'll just where is it? That is by Andrew Gibson. So you get the recognition of the most weirdest story. It means nothing. But dude, thanks a lot for the story. Which one would be your second pick?
Second. I think it will be like getting killed by Stephen Fry. Like he's one of the
The
nicest guys
master.
in the industry, man. I can't
Yeah.
imagine him killing someone. Like even if he is, like it's just
Dude, I
unimagine.
agree with that. I agree with that. What about your third? What about your third?
The third one, I will definitely give it to Simab, man. Like
Sima.
it was. I still don't know, like what was it? Like there is cheating. There is like like cat mice fight between
Yeah.
him and his mother. There is like phone hanging through a
Yeah,
charger
phone
with a
through
wire.
a rope.
There is yeah,
That's
there
right.
is
The
Farah.
special appearances
There
by Rajkumar Rao, Priyanka
yeah.
Chopra.
And the description, man, like he didn't describe anything about the other actress like
Yeah.
Sonakshi Sinha, Shraddha Kapoor, and Priyanka Chopra, but he clearly
It's
says
a
Rajkumar
weird
Rao
mix,
in
though.
tux.
It's a weird mix. Like you have obviously like you have Rajkumar Rao, then you have Priyanka Chopra, then you have
Yeah,
Ananya Pandey,
yeah. Then you
then
have
you have Sonakshi. Like
Farah.
it's like
I don't know, like it's a weird combination altogether.
oh man. Thanks a lot, Simha. So you get the
Yeah,
third entry.
yeah,
So basically, the winners, not really the winners, but the first VHS story goes to Andrew Gibson. The second one goes to Daryl Finland. And the
yeah,
third one goes to Simha. So, dude,
yeah,
thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone for sharing your stories.
yeah.
This
Clap, man.
was really fun. This was really fun. Like, I hope it's fun to you guys as well. Like, it was really
Yeah.
fun to record. I would say that much. And we actually got through 14 stories and a review of the Inception movie in less than 90 minutes. So I guess that's good.
That's a
I
win-win situation.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about Vin, man, but I hope the listeners, even though they don't listen to our Inception review, they would probably at least listen to the stories because, man,
Yeah,
these
they will.
stories are weird and it's really fun. And we really want to do lots more of this. And so that's why we have the Mission Impossible episode next week,
Yeah.
where we would love to know your stories of you basically breaking the law, breaking rules in your school, in your organization, and basically, living dangerously and the consequences of your actions or the thrill of breaking the rules of your organization. Just simple, fun stories. But I also have to say, disclaimer that these stories, we are not liable for the origin of any of these stories.
Yeah.
Like these stories could be fictional for all we know. So don't take these stories as utmost truths.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we have come to the end of the podcast episode. Thanks for everyone for tuning to this week's episode. We really appreciate it. If you're not, we would be trying to do something with the video version of the podcast this week. We're not very sure. It might not really happen, but we are available on YouTube. We're available on Spotify, the audio version. We are also available on Google Podcast. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. We are available in selected number of areas. We are aware in platforms which we are not even aware of what that platform is. So, but
uh,
do check out your most comfortable preference of listening to the podcast, and also like do let us know if you want us to be in any other platform. We would definitely try to make efforts to be in that platform. Do you have any final thoughts, Jay?
I was looking at our like homepage of YouTube, and
Yeah,
we are just 40 subscribers, man. We're
I would
just
say
10.
that's a big achievement. I didn't
Yeah,
expect us.
actually, yeah. I didn't realize we get to 40. Like we are 10 less than for 50. Yeah.
Yeah. But guys, like if you can click that subscribe button, that would help us a lot. Our aim is 100 subscribers, and it's we're halfway there. We're almost halfway there. Like we don't have the ambitions in life. We are happy with just 100 subscribers.
Don't worry, bro. Give me 60 days. I will make one account every day. Then we'll
But
definitely
uh,
reach
but
to
uh,
100
YouTube won't
subscribers.
recognize that. They actually identify spam accounts now. So
Oh, is it?
even if we get to 100 subscribers, after
Mm-hmm.
maybe a month, they would actually like maybe they might analyze the data and they might actually remove it. So
Yeah.
our hope is legitimate people. But do you have any concluding thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, just wait for my special video, man. It's going to be epic. I'm telling you. You
Yeah,
just have to watch the movie Inception again and again for to understand my video essay.
yeah, that is, dude, guys. I mean, Jay's putting a lot of effort into it. He's putting more
Yeah,
effort into it than his research project, which people don't really. I
true.
won't recommend him to do it, but that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's not
You
true.
know, my research report is around 800 words and the video essay is around 1600 words. So,
So
yeah,
you know
that's
where
insane.
the priorities of Jay are. Dude, anyway, we are going to be unemployed. Like the way up things are going, like we
Yeah.
might have to open a Patreon with just 40 subscribers and literally beg, like, please.
Oh, God. Yeah.
With that, very scary thought,
Very scary thought.
we have come to the end of the podcast. Guys, do subscribe to us on YouTube. Do follow us on Instagram. Do hit us up at Gmail. Just contact with us. Share us your thoughts about this podcast. Help us improve it. We are open to criticism. We are open to insults as well. We are open to anything. Like, just hit us up. It's completely fine. Just hit us up. We want
Yeah.
people other than YouTube and Google messaging us in Gmail. That is our dream in life.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
that dream, we have come to the end of the podcast. And I would just end the podcast with a very basic thought. I would just like to say that it's always better to take the leap of faith because it's better than becoming an old man filled with regret, waiting to die
Wow.
alone. With
Wow.
that thought of Inception, which I just Googled right now, we have come to the end of the
Yeah.
podcast. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
goodbye from
everyone.
us.
Thanks. Bye.